Winter is brutal. Today we survive it with heaters, jackets, insulated walls, and grocery stores packed with food. But ancient humans had none of that. No radiators, no central heating, no warm apartments, no "I'll just stay inside until spring." So how did they survive when the world turned cold enough to kill? And more importantly, how did they do it long before modern technology existed? The biggest danger was not just the cold, it was everything the cold destroyed. Food became harder to find, firewood became harder to collect, bodies burned more energy just to stay alive, and one mistake could mean starvation, sickness, or death. Winter was not a season. For ancient humans, winter was a test. The first reason they survived is simple: they were not helpless. Ancient humans understood patterns. They watched animals, weather, plants, and the sky. They knew that when certain signs appeared, winter was coming. So they prepared. They gathered food. They stored fuel. They moved before conditions became unbearable. And in some places, they timed their entire way of life around the season. This was not luck. This was survival by observation. Food was everything. In warm months, humans hunted, gathered, fished, and scavenged as much as possible. But they did not just eat day to day. They stored. They dried meat. They preserved fish. They saved nuts, seeds, roots, and fat. They planned for the months when fresh food would disappear. Because winter did not only bring cold, it brought emptiness. And the humans who survived were the ones who treated summer like a warning. If food was the first key, fire was the second. Fire changed everything. It gave warmth. It cooked food. It kept predators away. It let people survive darkness and cold that would otherwise be impossible. In a way, fire was the first artificial winter, a small controlled sun built by human hands. But fire was not enough by itself. You had to keep it alive. That meant dry wood, careful shelter, and constant attention. Lose the fire, and the night got much more dangerous. Ancient shelters were not fancy, but they were smart. People used caves, tents, huts, animal skins, bundled plants, and anything that could trap heat and block wind. The goal was not comfort. The goal was to reduce heat loss. Because in winter, the enemy is not just temperature, it is exposure. Wind steals warmth. Wet clothing steals warmth. Open space steals warmth. So people built small, protected spaces that made survival possible. Tiny shelters could be the difference between life and death. Then came clothing, not just cloth, layered, practical insulation. Animal hides, fur, leather, woven plant fibers, and whatever else could protect the body. The smartest thing ancient humans did was not invent one perfect winter outfit. It was learning that layers matter. Air trapped between layers helps hold heat. That idea is simple now. But for early humans, it was life-saving technology. Some groups did not stay still. They moved. When winter made one area impossible, they traveled to places where food and shelter were more available. Humans survived by being flexible. This may be one of the biggest reasons our species endured while many others disappeared. We did not just adapt to the environment, we changed our location. If one place became deadly, we left. And here is the part people often miss. Ancient humans were not trying to survive winter the way we do. They were surviving as communities. That meant sharing food, sharing fire, sharing shelter, sharing labor. A group could do what one person could not. One hunter might fail, one shelter might collapse, one person alone might not make it. But a group could preserve heat, divide work, and protect children and elders. Winter made cooperation matter. So how did ancient humans survive winter? Not with one invention, not with one miracle. They survived with a system: preparation, fire, storage, shelter, clothing, migration, and cooperation. Winter was harsh, but humans were not passive. They noticed, they planned, they adapted. And over time, that is what made us one of the most successful species on Earth. Because the real answer is not that ancient humans were tougher than winter. It is that they learned how to think ahead of it. And once humans learned to prepare for the cold, winter stopped being the end. It became just another problem to solve.